the different math major official degree options, and then what we call math major pathways within the Bachelor's of Science math major. Okay, so first of all, what will you do with this degree? What do mathematicians do? So mathematicians tend to be those folks who persist and who have great problem-solving skills. Maybe you're going to go into computational modeling, or you need to have excellent communication skills, and you'll indeed have to be a bit creative in how you approach problems. Okay, and all of these skills combined make you the type of employee that people might need in industry, from scientific to technical careers, education, of course, finance, economics, engineering, health, or government. 2 mathematicians have won Nobel Prizes this year, although there is not a Nobel Prize in mathematics. So the Nobel Prize in physics was jointly awarded, and one of those folks was a mathematician, and the one in economics this year as well, curiously enough. All right, so if you go to CNS's degree checklist page, you will find the various math major degree options, and this little image at the bottom there that you can hardly see. That's all the different varieties of math majors that have existed over nearly the past 8 years or so. But the current ones are the ones that we're going to focus on today and go over those one by one. Okay. And if Professor Walsh happens to connect up, I noticed she wasn't in there yet, but if she happens to, somebody just interrupt me when I get to the actual science board. Okay, I see I've got an email from her saying, all right, I'm going to remind her that she has to use her UTE-ID email, because that's what she's asking me about. Remember to use your UTE-ID email. We'll send that to her. All right, then maybe she'll be able to join us. Okay, so here they are. So first up, there are 2 BA degrees officially under our department, and one is the BA Bachelor's of Art in Mathematics, for which I'm the advisor, and then of course there's a Bachelor of Art in Mathematics with the teaching option, which would prepare you to go on to be a math teacher in either middle or high school. And Dr. Mark Daniels is the advisor for that BA You Teach degree. Okay, and then there's one Bachelor's of Science in Art degree. And the Bachelor's of Science and Art is really for folks who have 2 strong interests, math and a secondary area. And the Bachelor's of Science and Art allows you to pursue a certificate or a minor in that second area in which you have a strong interest. So if you know for sure, I love math and econ, I love math and business, I love math and whatever else it might be, then this degree plan allows you time to explore that secondary interest as well. And then there's the one that most folks choose, which is the Bachelor's of Science. And then underneath that, there are 4 current options. Option 1 is the actual science option. Option 5, again, is the Bachelor of Science in Teaching. Option 6 is Math Honors. And option 7 is Math, okay? So those are the current degree options, BA, BSA, and BS across our department. Let me go over all the advisors one more time. So I mentioned Dr. Mark Daniels if you're pursuing the BA in teaching or the BS in teaching. And then if you're pursuing the BS in actual science, the director of our actual science program is Dr. Mark Maxwell, and the assistant director is Professor Alyssa Walsh. And then if you choose Math Honors, or you are approved into Math Honors, Dr. Dave Rusin is the Math Honors advisor. And then I advise the BA Math, the BSA Math, and the BS Math. And I serve as the chair of the Undergraduate Studies Committee for the department. So many of the decisions related to prerequisites and prerequisite enforcement and all sorts of things related to all of the degree plans go through that committee. So you can always ask me any question, and then if I need to defer you on, I always will. Okay, so there's 2 links at the bottom of this page. The first link is to the CNS, College of Natural Sciences website, where they have the degree checklist. Those are those PDF files you can put out in one page, all the degree requirements, that if you might want to see that. And the website at the bottom is on our departmental website, and it's the pathways that I want to go through. I'm going to escape out of my full screen mode for a second. And I'm going to go ahead and share both of those links with you, I think. Okay, in the chat.
It shared, well, the degree one and the checklist, the pathways one.
You've already shared them? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I did.
Oh, thank you so much. You're on top of it. Look there. Okay, great. Go back then to my full screen view. Thanks so much, Jimena. Okay, she has got it. All right, very good. I should have fed her those links ahead of time, but see, she figured it out. All right, so that's an overview of what you could do within our department as an undergrad. Okay, so now we'll go one by one through each of those. And so first I had here the Bachelor's of Art degree in mathematics. And so I'm just snipping out of that degree plan the math major specific portion, okay? So this requires 24 hours of upper division math. It requires that you complete a calculus sequence. Any of the calculus 2 course sequences is acceptable. It requires you complete linear algebra. You choose one out of this category. You choose one of the real analysis. You take probability. You pick one more out of this list. And then that would, out of the 24, you'd still have 9 more upper division hours. So you pick those from any upper division courses that you would like, okay? And so there is not a specific science requirement for the BA in math. Any questions on the BA math degree while we're on that page? Okay. Then the next step is that blended Bachelor's of Science and Art degree. For this one, again, you complete a calculus sequence. The degree plan reads now, they prefer the CD sequence. And then there are some required courses. We want you to take the math major linear algebra, one of these intermediate or advanced proof courses. Everybody takes probability. Everybody takes one of the analysis courses. And so that would be 4 courses listed there. And so then we would want 12 more additional math hours to come again to 24 total upper division math hours for the BSA. Because it's a blend of the BS and the BA, it does require 6 hours of a science. And then, and this is 6 hours in a single field and 3 hours from another field, or could be from different. And then, as you know, the BSA requires a minor or certificate in another area in addition to your math major specific courses. Any questions on the BSA? A lot of folks choose maybe one of the stats certificates, the CS certificates, and a minor in another field from another college potentially. We don't offer minors in our college. You might know that we offer certificates, which are relatively similar to minors. Some people pick up the Business Foundation certificate. That's the other most popular one. Okay, and then next up is what most majors are, but no, certainly not all. And most math majors are pursuing one of our Bachelor's of Science in Math degrees. Okay, and so the option 7, the mathematics option, these are the requirements. So again, it wants you to complete a calculus sequence, one of the 2 course calculus sequences. It also asks you to complete an introductory programming course, and we're very relaxed there. We just want you to learn how to program in any language. So CS303E counts, but so does CS312, CS314, and any programming class you might transfer in with that taught you how to program in any language is acceptable for that. Because this is the Bachelor's of Science, it does require 8 hours in one science. And then the other things are again, math major upper division specific requirements. Out of this first list, we want you to pick at least 3, and it's highly recommended that probability and linear are definitely 2 of those 3. And then you choose between vector calc or diffie-q, or you take them both. And then you need to take either discrete or number theory, and then you have to take 1 out of this list. And then you come to a total of 33 upper division hours in math. So you need to take at least 11 upper division math courses for the BS math degree. And then there are 2 more requirements. One of your upper division math should either meet our departmental designation of an inquiry-based learning course, and that means in the syllabus or on the course schedule, it might say that it's an IBL course. Or it can carry the university's designation, which has only been recently added, the independent inquiry flag. Our department has taught courses in the inquiry-based learning format for over 50 years, but you might know it's a rather recent thing that the University of Texas came up with these flag designations that they award to some courses, and their II flag most closely resembles what we've been doing in the IBL format for decades. So it can carry either an IBL designation, which is a departmental thing, or it can carry the university's II flag. At least one of your upper division math needs to carry that. And then additionally, we want you to get to see math being used in another setting. So we highly encourage, well, we require you to take one upper division course that is called Math in Context. To get things on the degree plan, there's lots of loops to jump through, but this is a rather short list. We do not restrict you to this list. Indeed, we strongly encourage you to find an upper division course anywhere on campus, in any college that is upper division and in that area, and that uses some type or types of mathematics that are upper division. So often you will find a great applied statistics course just all over campus. You might find a course that uses some combination of linear algebra, differential equations, probability, statistics, or any math for that matter. But those are the most popular ones. So we encourage you to find something that interests you anywhere on campus, and then you just send it through me to get approval to satisfy this math in context. Now, if you're pursuing, say, the BS math degree together with one of the statistics certificates, then we can work together and find one appropriate statistics course that will fit your math in context and also satisfy your certificate. Or if you're doing the elements of computing certificate, then there are many upper division CS courses that can, again, satisfy both your elements of computing certificate requirement and this math and context requirement. So there are lots of ways we can work with you and help you find a course that's going to help you pursue your interest and also hopefully not add too much to what you already were planning on doing. So this is the overview, but in reality, if you come into UT and you haven't had exposure to formal mathematical proofwriting, I do want to make a comment about the proof courses. I highly encourage you to take either 325K or 333L first. 325K is right now our discrete mathematics course, and 333L is our geometry class. And as things stand right now, both of those are taught as introductory proofwriting courses. Great places to begin your journey into proofwriting. And then at the intermediate level right now, linear algebra 341 and 328K are taught at a slightly more intermediate level of proofwriting. So if you had some exposure before going here, you might move into those, but most of us start in discrete or geometry, and then we move up to linear algebra or number theory or both before we jump on to the more highly advanced proofwriting courses that are in this category here, okay? So that would be one thing that's not really spelled out in prerequisites and everything as much as I feel like it should be. But ideally, you take either or discrete and geometry first, or both of them if you really like both topics. And then you take number theory and or linear algebra. And then you're ready for any more advanced proofwriting courses. But you're free to enter at any point, but you might want to sit down and have a conversation with me about what have you done in the past, so we figure out where's the best entry to you in that proofwriting ladder of courses, if you will. Questions on the BS in math?
I have a couple questions.
Yes.
First being, I just transferred, or I added a math degree. So on the degree plan, it says like mathematics entry level. Does that mean I can choose any of these options?
Yeah, yes, you can still choose any of the options if you have that. And at any time you can switch. And that was one of the reasons why this latest BS in math degree is a little less restrictive than the ones in the past. All the math majors have to take, oops, my cursor got stuck, something out of this list, 3 out of that list, 1 out of this list, 1 out of this list. And then there's a lot of freedom in your remaining upper division math hours so that you could choose how you focus. So we'll get into that a bit more later. But yes, you can still, if you're entry level destination, you can still choose BA, BSA, or BS.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Any other questions at that point? Let's see what I have next. Okay, so then I wanted to go in. This is the overview of the Bachelor's of Science in Math, that option 7 degree plan. As we just saw, everybody in that degree plan completes a lower division calculus sequence, either with AP credit or here. And then you complete at least 33 hours of upper division math. Some of that math could be graduate work if you come in rather advanced or you move along rapidly. And you take graduate math courses, they certainly will also count towards that minimum 33 hours. Some introductory programming class, you learn how to program in any language and a math and context. Those are the highlights of every BS math option 7. But then, as you see, those highlights aren't very restrictive. So it does allow you to choose a focus in an area of math where you might want to go on into future study or enter as a career. And so you might choose to focus those remaining upper division hours in pure math, applied math, statistics and probability, data science, scientific computation, actuarial science, or you teach. And so we developed in the department what we call advising pathways towards the Bachelor's of Science in Mathematics. And so here's another link. Maybe Herminia already shared that in the chat window, but you can go to the main math page and click academics undergraduate advising, and you get to this pathways where it lists them all out and has PDF files for each one. But we're going to go over each of those in brief now. Okay, so first up is pure math pathway. If you are interested in graduate studies in mathematics, you would want to follow what's called the pure math pathway. Maybe I want to jump out and show y'all that website real quick. Okay, I'm going to switch my share if I can and show you that for a second. Too many windows open. Stop that share and go to the, let me just show you that site real quick. Okay, so anyhow, you get here academics, undergrad, and then over in the left menu, then it's advising. This is how they placed it, this new website they've got now. Pathways is right there as a tab under advising. And this is the site that you'll see when you go there. Okay, and so it shows you all these pathways we're about to go over in brief, but each title of a pathway is a hyperlink out to a PDF file. And I'll just click maybe the pure math one we were just looking at. When you click on that, it's a PDF that you might save. First page gives you an overview of that pathway, and then it breaks it down. Okay, if you're wanting to go to grad school math, what would faculty members advise you to take? And this flexibility that you have in your BS math degree, which courses would they highly recommend? So for everyone, they would highly recommend these 6 core courses, and then they want you to go deep in at least one area. So complete at least one of these 2 course sequences, and then it's highly recommended that you complete one of these multi 3 course sequences that include a grad course. Okay, and then as you're trying to decide which of the mini math and context options should I choose if I'm wanting to go to grad school of math, well, they list several potential math and context courses across the university that you might choose if you're pursuing this particular pathway. And then additionally, they might recommend other things you do while you're a math major at UT. And so they highly recommend the DRP and RUs and other summer research opportunities, for example. Okay, so each of these pathways, let's jump to one more, for example, the applied math. Let's look at that. Again, if you were going to go into that area, this pathway will prepare you to go to graduate study in applied math, or also to enter the workforce directly after graduating. And so again, they pick 6 core courses, and they're probably quite similar, but then they say choose at least 5 of these more applied courses across our department. And then they just give you a lot of latitude in the math and context. They say choose one in an application area such as computer science, engineering, or physics. And then for the applied math pathway, they picked out a few certificates across our college that they would recommend you should consider adding to your math major. Okay, so that's what we mean about pathways. Let's go back to my PowerPoint though. Okay, go and starting here. All right, so the applied math one that we were just looking at gives you a slate of courses that would prepare you to go into high tech, finance, health, governmental agencies, national laboratories, or graduate studies where quantitative applied mathematical skills are needed. Again, for each pathway, it tags which faculty advisor you would go to. And so for the BS in pure applied stats, various ones, I'm still the faculty advisor, but we also ask research faculty across these areas who would be willing to be contacted by students that might have further questions in that area. So if a professor is listed here, they agreed for you guys to reach out to them if you were wanting to go on to grad school in applied math and you had questions, for example. You can reach out to Dr. Arbogast, Dr. Gamba, or Dr. Wolf. Okay, and then there's the stats and probability pathway. The one that we titled stats and probability is primarily for those who are wanting to go on to graduate school in those areas, but also so that you might want to go into the job market. There's a data science pathway in addition to this one, though, I will point out. So this is very much suitable for those people that want to go to grad school in financial mathematics, statistics, economics. And Dr. Serbu, Dr. Zikwich, Dr. Neiman, and Dr. Walker agreed to be faculty contacts in this realm. And then we have the data science pathway with Dr. Tran helped me put together. And this is for those who really want to go into the job market right after undergrad with this data science concentration, okay? And again, there's it's still the BS math, so I'm still the faculty advisor, but then there are this number of faculty members who agreed to be contacts in the area of data science: Dr. Tran, Dr. Ward, Dr. Martinson, Dr. Mueller, and Dr. Walker. Then there's the scientific computational pathway. And if you want to be employed in technical computing, or if you want to go on to grad school in scientific computation or numerical analysis, this might be the set of courses you focus on. Again, it's a BS math option 7 degrees. So I'm the faculty advisor, but here are these various faculty members who agreed to be contacts if you're interested in this area: Dr. Arbogast, Dr. Enquist, Dr. Gamba, Dr. Gonzalez, Dr. Martinson again, Dr. Rin, and Dr. Tsai. Okay, and then there's actuarial math, which is another option. And the faculty advisor, as we mentioned, was Dr. Maxwell, and then the faculty mentor is Professor Walsh. And has she been able to connect up? I'm not able to span the room. Let me check my email if she got in or not. Let's see. Oh, okay, she needs to know her UTID email. Okay, I'll pause in a second and give her that information. Okay. So, and then there's UTeach Math is the final pathway and also a particular math option. And of course, as we said before, this prepares you to go on to teach math, and there are UTeach programs across the spectrum at middle school or high school. And Dr. Mark Daniels would be your faculty advisor if you go the UTeach route. And there's an advisor, full-time staff advisor, Annette Hairston as well. And our UTeach program here at UT Austin is well recognized around the nation, and many other schools have replicated it. It's
Dr. Austin.
Great program. Yes.
There was one question in the chat. Are these pathways something we need to declare through advising, or is this just a guideline for us to pick courses?
Good question. No, these are pathways are just guidelines to help you pick courses to prepare you for your academic and career goals. Okay. You would all still earn a BS mathematics degree, but then this gives you some guidance as to how you would focus those many choices you have in those upper division math courses to prepare you for where you want to go next. You don't have to declare these. And the BS math degree is such that it's quite flexible for you to move from one of these concentrations to another if your interests change over your 4 years. And I'll just pause with this slide. So again, this is Dr. Daniels at the top right, Dr. Maxwell on middle left, and myself, and we advise the majority of the math majors. Dr. Daniels for UTeach, Dr. Maxwell for actuarial, myself for BS, BSA, and BA. And then additionally, you have full-time general academic advisors in the Math, Physics, Astronomy Advising Office. And Rhonda Hall is the coordinator of that office. She's top left here at the bottom. And let me turn that little cursor thing back on. Okay, here's Rhonda Hall. And she's been here with us for many years and she knows everything. Okay. And then Tam Mai is here on the bottom left, and Micah Quarter. And these three folks are full-time professional academic advisors. So they are experts on all components of your degree, but specifically the core requirements and how do you get all those flags in and things of that nature. The faculty advisors are experts on the particular math requirements and how you might sequence your math courses to make them doable for you. But then if you have questions about how many global cultures flags do I need or something, these folks down here are the experts on that. Okay. And if you need to drop a class, unfortunately a Q drop, or you need to try to switch a class or something, you're trying to figure any little puzzles out about your degree plan, your course schedule, degree audits, always check in with your academic advisor. Okay. And they're great resources. And then this person right here is Mr. John Howard. And of course, he's the administrative associate for that office. He helps you connect to your advisor. If you don't know who your advisor is, or if you're entry level and haven't yet been assigned one of those, he can direct you. And if you have any question, he's the first person to go to, and then he'll redirect to any of the faculty advisors or the academic advisors as needed. Okay. And that email at the bottom is, of course, how they're functioning right now. We're all still working remotely, but we're all still having advising appointments. And this is a great time of the semester to reach out to advisor. We're not very busy yet. As you get into the registration period, which has been shifted to start, I think it starts near the beginning of November now. It usually happens in October, but I believe it's starting in the first week of November now. But anyhow, as you get into registration, these folks will all be booked solid. But if you go try to see us now, we've all got lots of time, and we're taking half-hour appointments right now. If you wait to registration period, our appointments are cut down to 15 minutes because so many people need to see us at that point. So if you're curious about, well, what order should I take my math classes? Or why does my degree ought to not pick up this transfer course I took, or things like that, then schedule an advising appointment with any of us. And this is an optimal time to meet with us, okay? And that was what I had to say. So I'm going to escape out of that now and stop. And then you guys can ask questions, and I'm going to go try to find Professor Walsh's UTID for her. Okay, and see if she can join in to see if those of you that have actual questions, just hang on. We'll get her in this meeting in just a moment, I think. Okay, but questions for me, anyone?
Dr. Oster, there is one in the chat. Is a BA in math or BS good for data science and analytics?
If you're serious about data science, I would pursue the BS math and the applied statistical modeling certificate. It's quite easy if you plan it out ahead of time to get your applied statistical modeling certificate together with a math degree, because you can all the classes you take for this applied statistical modeling certificate, except for one, can also count towards your math degree. We just need to plan them out well ahead of time. Okay.
And then another question. When is the math undergraduate newsletter getting sent out? I'm interested in the list of topics classes.
Okay. Yes. So we don't have those quite yet, but yes, I usually send that out right before registration. So I will always send that out right before registration. And yes, I may have that information for you by next Monday. And I'm only joining at the very beginning of next Monday's meeting, I think. But I don't have the topics courses yet finalized, but I may have it by next week. Okay.
How can we go from the data science pathway while taking math honors?
Okay, so math honors still allows a great deal of flexibility. Let's see, I think I had that open as well. I will share that real quick. Here's the PDF for Math Honors, but let's zoom in on it so we can see it a little bit. Okay, so if we scroll down, there's still a bit of flexibility. You do have to take the 379H, usually your senior year, the thesis course. And then you have hopefully taken one of the honors StiffyQ courses. And then you take 2 out of this list of analysis, algebra, topology, but then there's 20 more hours of any upper division math that you want. So there's still a great deal of flexibility, and you would just, when you're picking these remaining 20 hours, you just go through that data science pathway and pick those courses that interest you in that realm. Okay, I hope that answers your question. If I don't, if you have more on that topic, let me know. How do I get back to that chat window? There it is. Would I recommend SciComp or data science or applied statistical if I want to do data science? If you want to do data science, I would recommend you pursue the BS math. Maybe I already answered that one. That may be one Alyssa called out. But if you really want to go into data science as a career after graduating, I would pursue the BS math. Focus those upper division courses that are a choice for you. Focus them from the ones that you see listed in the data science pathway, and pursue the applied statistical modeling certificate. And like I said, when you pursue a certificate, it's just a general UT rule that there has to be at least one course that satisfies the certificate requirements that's not also satisfying a major requirement for you. But because of the choices in the applied statistical modeling certificate, you can go down that and take all but one of those courses, can both fit your math degree and your certificate requirements. Okay, and so it's very doable to pursue the data science pathway towards your BS math and also the applied statistical modeling certificate. And you can meet with me, and I walk people through how to fit those two together all the time. So you can meet with me and we can talk through how do you fit those two together. I recommend double majoring. We have many double majors. Physics and math is the most common, and math and computer science is also quite common. And so it's just up to you. You really have to know that starting at the beginning, though, pretty much, or very soon after. It's harder to add, say, a degree that's outside of our college, because then the general education requirements could be quite different as well. But some people do it. We certainly have some finance, which is not in our college, believe it or not. Math double majors, business math double majors, econ math double majors, and we do have a few engineering math double majors. So it's doable, but you need to be planning this strongly as early as you can. We have a strong secondary interest. We pursue BSA, and that will be fine. BS is 33 hours of upper division math. BSA is 24. And so employers will notice that to some extent. But suppose you do BSA and you don't take the easiest courses you could choose. You do take some of the more demanding math courses, and you complement it with the applied statistical modeling certificate and or the CS certificate, either one actually. You would still be strong, okay? What if you have a BS degree when you apply to grad school for data science? How do I explain a BS? Yes, if you're going to go to grad school in data science, then I would highly recommend you pursue the BS degree, okay? You don't have to be a Dean Scholar to be a math honors student and pursue the 379H, the math honors course. That's correct. Now, Professor Walsh has been able to join, and so we could see if she wanted to share anything further on the BS Actuarial Science degree. Alyssa, I just gave the brief overview of that degree. Excuse me, Professor Walsh, I just gave the brief overview of that degree. But then if anyone has any specific questions, Professor Walsh, who earned her degrees here, went on and practiced for a while, came back to teach for us, is a, am I correct, you're a dual fellow? How do I describe that? You go ahead and give us your accolades, if you will.
I'm a fellow with the Casualty Actuarial Society. Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm not sure what was said earlier about the actuarial science degree, but just a couple of general thoughts about actuarial science is that it's an applied field of math. There's no real expectation to get a graduate degree with actuarial science. There are two societies in the United States, the Society of Actuaries and the Casualty Actuarial Society. And so if you want to be an actuary, you're going to get your continuing education or your further higher education through the societies, through a professional exam process. And so through that exam process, there are two credentials that you'll be aiming for. The first one is the associateship, and that one comes in after about the sixth exam, somewhere in there. And then after you get your associateship, then you continue on to get your fellowship. And fellowship, you've taken about 9 or 10 exams at that point. And then fellowship, that's going to be the terminal credential.
Did anyone have questions about the actuarial science BS degree? Let's use that raising hand feature, the electronic one perhaps. How many of you teach math majors or think that's the direction you're heading in? Let's just be curious and poll the audience. Use the yes, no, or that little electronic raise hand button. If it's, maybe I'm a host now, maybe that's why I don't have it. Oh, I'm a co-host now, yes. So I don't currently have that option. Anyone? No, you teach folks in the audience tonight? I don't see any. Okay. Then how about BSA math? How many BSA math? Any BSA math this evening? 1, 2. Okay, good. We talked about that degree plan. So we have a couple of those. Okay, any bachelors of art math majors in the audience tonight? I guess clear those hands. Okay. Any BAs? No. Okay. How about BS mathematics? Not the actual science one, just BS mathematics. That's where probably most of you land. Yeah. Okay. Let's lighten up with the yeses and the hands and everything. Oh, wow. Okay. Most of us are BS math. Okay. That's what I was. Okay. Yeah. Nothing about that. Okay. And that lets you go into a lot of different directions, as we just saw. And that's what those pathways are aiming to help you decide, what direction would I take my degree? Okay. And then we have actuarial science. How many, either a hand or a yes, how many actuarial science math majors do we have in the audience today? Okay. We got at least one. All right. Great. And did I name everything? I did. You teach actuarial science, BA, BSA, BS? I think so. Okay. Any remaining questions for us? So my biggest bit of advice is, okay, it's October 12th. Let's go to the calendar. Y'all may remember this more than I do. When did they say they're going to start registration? They changed it, and it's delayed, I believe, until first week of November. Let me scroll down and see. Yep, November 2nd through the 13th is the official registration period for spring classes, excuse me. November 2nd through 13th. So from now until through November 1st, it will probably be easy to get an appointment with any of the advisors, okay? So I highly recommend reaching out to do so. Professor Walsh, if anyone wants to meet with you, do they just email you directly?
Yeah, they're welcome to email me or Maxwell. Yep.
Okay. Okay. So either Professor Walsh or Dr. Maxwell, just email them directly. Now I'm using Mr. John Howard to help me organize my calendar. So MPAADV, we should put that in the chat with MPAADV. Let me put that in the chat. Is how you email the Math Physics Astronomy Advising Office at austin.utexas.edu. And Mr. John Howard answers those emails, and he can schedule an advising appointment with either myself or Dr. Rusin, if you're math honors, or any of your academic advisors, Rhonda Hall, Tam Meyer, Michael Corder, those full-time professional academic advisors. Mr. Howard will also help you schedule those meetings. But this is the ideal time to meet with us. Like I said, right now we're still taking 30-minute appointments with each person individually, one-on-one. And when it gets to the 1st of November, then they'll be cut down to 15-minute appointments, because so many people will be trying to see us then. So if you're curious, which pathway should I go in? Or you're curious, how do I sequence these remaining courses? Those are the type of questions we help people with all the time, okay? And yes, good point, Alyssa. Always put your UTEID in that email. That helps them make sure they're sending you to the right advisor. Okay. And then when they do send you to us, we've got the UTID and we can look up what courses you have taken and see what you need to take. There's a question from Elise. Suppose someone goes far enough in math to teach grad classes. No, you're not offered prelim exams as an undergrad. That's something definitely that, but it does help you if you were to take some of those prelim grad courses while you're still here at UT. Then when you go on to grad school, you may not have to retake the course. You may be able to take the prelim exam that when you first enter grad school. But certainly it just prepares you to do well in even if you retake that course as a grad school student somewhere else. But no, they don't offer prelim exams except to doctoral students. But you can take the actual professional exams as you take a course. You can go ahead and take those actual professional exams. And our strong students do graduate with multiple of those exams passed when they graduate. Any other questions? Great questions today, everybody. Okay, so you can always reach out directly to me if you think it's a question that can be answered via email. I'll put that in the chat window. That's my email. But then if you want to schedule an advisor appointment, then do use that MPAADV at austin.utexas.edu. That way I'm not double booking myself or anything. Here's another question. Real world examples of mathematics path. Okay, so if you go to that Pathways website that we were looking at together earlier, back over here somewhere, I think. Okay, so it's Jimena shared this hyperlink, this website link in the chat window earlier. If you go to that Pathways website, then each of the pathways have a paragraph. I did not put the entire paragraph in my PowerPoint earlier, but in each paragraph, the faculty in that area gave you an introduction to that area and a little bit about where it might be used, and a little bit about, well, the applied math people made sure to tell you guys that we're number 8 in the country in applied math. But anyhow, each faculty in that area gave us a little blurb to put here. So do read over that to get some examples. Let's see, go back to the chat window. Okay, I'm going to put that hyperlink back in there. Yeah. Okay. Any specific questions? And then particularly if you're interested in that large realm of applied mathematics, I might point out that this next week, October 16th through 18th, the SIAM, the Texas Louisiana section of SIAM, SIAM is the Society for Industrial and Applied Mathematics, includes a wide range of math and math both in industry and big government and at the national labs and in academia. And they are having their session. There's all virtual and it's totally free. It's Friday, Saturday, Sunday, October 16th, 17th, and 18th. I posted about that in the AWM Facebook group earlier today. In particular, on Friday the 16th, they're having career fairs. They're first going to have one career fair that will have a mixture of people from industry, academia, and government, I think. Then they're going to have 3 sub-career fairs where they will have one focused on academia, one focused on industry, I think one focused on like the national labs and such. So be sure to check that out. I highly recommend that if you're interested. And the academia one, of course, will also be discussing grad school options and things. So there's a lot of advantages to this strange world we find ourselves in. And that would be the biggest one I have found, that there are so many conferences that are taking place virtually right now. And so that's I think a great opportunity. I'm going to grab this from the Facebook page. Okay, there's the description. And then I think this hyperlink I'm about to should take you. Well, it's going to have that Facebook extension on it, but hopefully it's still going to work for you. Okay, that should take you to the career panel information. Okay, but I think that's a nice resource and reference for you. Those career fairs, I think, start around 3 o'clock on Friday afternoon. So those might be of interest to you. But as things like, as opportunities like that arise, AWM is really good about sharing those online in our Facebook groups and such. Excuse my dog barking in the background. He's getting a little anxious. His bowl needs to be filled. He realizes. Okay. So other questions, comments? Quiet group. Okay, thank you. Thank you for joining us, Professor Walsh, and thank all of you who came today and brought your questions and such. Again, just reach out if you have questions. Okay, reach out to your fellow students. They're going to have this session for you next Monday, where I might join at the beginning. Then it'll just be a student-only session for the majority of the hour next Monday, and you guys can talk about the juicy stuff about picking your course.